So today we are going to our fifth module, which is spread spectrum modulation. So as an introduction, we'll define what you mean by spread spectrum. So the spread spectrum, as a definition, it can be stated into two parts. First part, a spread spectrum is a mean of transmission in which data sequence occupied by a bandwidth in excess of minimum bandwidth necessary to send it. And the second part is that spread spectrum or spectrum spreading is accomplished before transmission through the use of a code that is independent of data sequence, and the same code is used in receiver to despread the received signal so that the original data sequence may be recovered. This process are calculated without any modulation. So in spread spectrum basically transmission signal transmit actual original bandwidth increase spread spread spectrum minimum signal of bandwidth B that's spread spectrum pass signal BSF, bandwidth which is spreaded bandwidth bandwidth original signal compare higher bandwidth convert it. Usually narrow band signal wide band signal that's spread spectrum. So as the definition of spread spectrum may be stated into two parts. Here the spread spectrum is a mean of transmission in which data sequence occupies a bandwidth in excess of minimum bandwidth necessary to send it. So here what it is doing is data sequence in the it occupies a bandwidth in excess of minimum bandwidth necessary to send it. So the original bandwidth is limited bandwidth. So other channel pass limitations. So limitations overcome limited bandwidth extra bandwidth add excess bandwidth add and I process spread spectrum technique കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടോ? ആരും ഒന്ന് റെസ്പോണ്ട് ചെയ്യോ? ഓഡിബിൾ ആണോ വിസിബിൾ ആണോ? നിങ്ങൾ ആരും ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തോ ഇല്ലയോ എന്ന് എനിക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നില്ല. റെസ്പോണ്ട് ചെയ്യോ ആരെങ്കിലും? സ്ലൈഡ് ഷെയർ ചെയ്യുന്നോണ്ട് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നില്ല, അതാ ചോദിക്കുന്നത്. ഓഡിബിൾ ആണോ? ആരെങ്കിലും ഒരാൾ മൈക്ക് ഓൺ ചെയ്തു. ഓക്കെ. So, in spread spectrum introduction parayanele, the definition of spread spectrum may be stated in the two parts. First part it's a mean of transmission in which data sequence occupy a bandwidth in excess of minimum bandwidth necessary to send it. So the data sequence in the here it occupies a bandwidth in excess of minimum bandwidth necessary to send it. And the second part of this spread spectrum the spectrum spreading is accomplished before transmission. So usually we spreading signal channel transmit channel through transmit spreading original bandwidth spread narrow band signal wide band signal so our process the spectrum spreading is accomplished before transmission through the use of a code that is independent of data sequence. In code independent of data sequence, and the same code is used in the receiver to despread the received signal so the original data sequence may be recovered, and the process are calculated without any modulation. So here in spread spectrum there is two types of spread spectrum. Direct sequence spread spectrum, frequency hopped spread spectrum. Okay, appo namukku spread spectrum parayanele this is spread spectrum block diagram. Here we can see an input data. This input data has a bandwidth B, and this input data is given to a modulator or spreader. This is a block diagram of a spectrum technology in a block diagram. So we have an input data which have a bandwidth B, a limited bandwidth and a narrow band signal. And this is converted to BSS. This bandwidth is converted to BSS, and this is a spreaded bandwidth. And it's the signal out of this modulator wideband signal. So narrow band signal is converted into wideband signal with the use of a PN sequence or code. A PN sequence pseudo noise code sequence on a PN sequence. So this input data is given to a modulator or a spreader. This modulator is also known as a spreader. So here this modulator have an input of frequency synthesizer, which is given by which have an input of PN sequence. This PN sequence code different or different mobile station different users different PN sequence. So it is the particular frequency at which the transmission this frequency transmitted PN code PN sequence decide. So our frequency synthesizer vary input data modulator cheyum or spread it. Based on that frequency, input data gets spreaded, and corresponding modulator output wide band signal. Narrow band signal is get converted into wide band signal. So before transmission, the spreading process takes place. As we can see, this is a channel. So before transmission, we have changed to BSS. So our bandwidth has spreaded. And now here we have a demodulator session or the receiver session. And the receiver section also we can see a PN sequence. And this PN sequence must be same as that in the case of receiver. Then only the demodulation operation can be correctly done. So this frequency synthesizer have a PN sequence code, and this code is similar to that code which we have used in transmitter side. And we have a frequency synthesizer. Based on that frequency, our demodulation is done, or despreading or despreader. This demodulator is also known as despreader. So despreading is done, and correspondingly we get our output data. So this is the block diagram of this spread spectrum, and the significance of this spread spectrum include immunity jamming that we will discuss now. So the PN sequence, what it do is it converts a narrow band signal to a wideband noise-like signal before transmission. And it provides immunity to multi-path interference and robust multiple access capability. And based on that spread spectrum, we have two types of spread spectrum. One is frequency hopped spread spectrum and direct sequence spread spectrum. So why we usually what do we mean by spread spectrum multiple access? It is a modulation technique in which transmitted bandwidth is larger than information signal bandwidth. So basically we have an information signal bandwidth of B. So this information signal bandwidth will be smaller, or this transmission bandwidth and information signal bandwidth will be different. Usually the transmitter bandwidth will be larger than the information signal bandwidth, and bit rate of the spreading sequence is much higher than input data. Here we can see this is our input bandwidth, which have a bandwidth of represented by B, and which is passed through a spread spectrum. On passing through a spread spectrum, the spreaded bandwidth will be BSS. Here we can see bandwidth increases in BSS. So the spreading factor or processing gain, which is in BSS of BSS is equal to L into B. That is, L is the processing gain. So L can be found out like L equal to BSS by V. This is a processing gain, and this is in the case of analog system. So in case of analog system, we have L equal to BSS by B, and in case of digital system, we have TB by TC, where TB is the bit period and TC is the chip period, chip type period and bit time period. So TB is the bit time period and TC is the chip time period. So here in this L is equal to TB by TC is in the case of digital system, and this L is equal to BSS by B is in the case of analog system. And analog system, we have FHSS, that is a frequency hopping spread spectrum, and digital system we have DSS, that is direct sequence spread spectrum. So why we need the spread spectrum? So here we have two types of bandwidth utilization can be categorized to two types, that is multiplexing and multiple access schemes. So in multiplexing we have FDM, TDM, CDM, WDM, and multiple access scheme we have FDMA, TDMA, CDMA, etc. So FDMA kum TDMA kum we have limited bandwidth. So and it requires spectral efficiency also. That is one of the disadvantages of this FDMA and TDMA. This have limited bandwidth and it requires spectral efficiency also. And due to the limited bandwidth, concentrated spectrum and narrow band spectrum, this scheme, that is the SPECT spectrum, cannot be used in CDMA. But FDMA and TDMA. But in CDMA, the SPECT spectrum can be used. That is, SPECT spectrum is generally used in CDMA. That is code division multiple access. And this is the block diagram of SPECT spectrum. That is the transmitter side and receiver side. So I hope it's clear. So is SPECT spectrum, this is the definition of SPECT spectrum, may be stated in two parts. That is, SPECT spectrum is a means of transmission in which data sequence occupy a bandwidth in excess of minimum bandwidth necessary to send it. And the SPECT spectrum is accomplished before transmission through the use of a code, that is the PN pseudo noise code, that is independent of data sequence, and the same code is used in the receiver to despread the received signal. As we have seen, a PN sequence which is used in the receiver, which should be same as that of which is used in the transmitter. So the same code is used in the receiver to despread the received signal so that original data sequence may be recovered. And the process are calculated without any modulation. So basically, SPECT spectrum is classified into two. That is direct sequence SPECT spectrum, that is DSSS, which is usually in digital system use ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ്, and frequency hopped SPECT spectrum, that is FHSS, which is used in analog system. So in DSSS, that is direct sequence SPECT spectrum, first incoming data sequence is used to modulate the wideband code. And this code transforms a narrowband data sequence into a noise-like wideband signal, and the resulting wideband signal undergoes second modulation using BPS scale. And in FHS scale, the spectrum of data modulated carrier is widened by changing the carrier frequency in a pseudo-random manner. So first നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ കണ്ടത് FHSS ആയിരുന്നു, and here അതായത് analog SPECT spectrത്തിന്റെ ബ്ലോക്ക് ഡയഗ്രം ആണ് നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ജസ്റ്റ് ഗോ ത്രൂ ചെയ്തത്. പക്ഷേ in DSSലും FHSലും രണ്ട് വ്യത്യാസമുണ്ട്. There are two differences. That is, in DSSS, first incoming data sequence is used to modulate a wideband code, and this code transforms narrowband data sequence into a noise-like wideband signal, and the resulting wideband signal undergo second modulation using BPSK. Whereas in frequency hopped SPECT spectrum of data modulated carrier is widened by changing the carrier frequency in a pseudo-random manner. And now going on to the advantages of this SSS technique. First advantage is reduced interference. Reduced interference means in spectrum or in SPECT spectrum system, interference from undecided source is considerably reduced due to the processing gain of the system. We have discussed the processing gain L. L is equal to BSS by B or TB by TC in case of digital system, and BSS by B in the case of analog system. So the first point or the first advantage of this SPECT spectrum technique is that it have reduced interference, and this in SS system, interference from undecided sources considerably reduced due to the processing gain of the system. And second point is that low susceptibility to multi-path fading. This is because of its inherent frequency diversity properties, and SPECT spectrum system offers resistance to degradation in signal quality due to the multi-path fading, and this is particularly beneficial for designing mobile communication system. And third is coexistence of multiple systems. So with proper design of this PN sequence, multiple SPECT spectrum system can coexist. That is coexistence of multiple systems. So by proper design of this PN sequence, multi-SPECT spectrum exist or it can coexist. And last advantage is that immunity to jamming. As an important factor of SPECT spectrum, it is the ability to that is immunity to jamming is an important factor of this SS technique or SPECT spectrum technique, as it is the ability to withstand strong interference, sometimes generated by an enemy, to block the communication link. And this is one of the reasons for extensive use of the concept of spread spectrum in military communication. So basically, this spread spectrum technique is used in military communication because of this security provided by this spread spectrum, that is the immunity to jamming. So it has the ability to withstand strong interference that is sometimes generated by our enemies to block the communication link. So one of the important advantages of this spread spectrum technique is that immunity to jamming. And going on to the disadvantages of this SS, first one is increased complexity and computational load, increased bandwidth. This includes frequency reuse, wideband receivers, etc. And third point is that no improvement in performance of the presence of ghosts and noise. So these are the disadvantages of this SS. Now, direct sequence spread spectrum, that is DSS. Now we will study about the DSS block diagram. That is the transmitter side and receiver side. The most widely used or most widely recognized form of spread spectrum is this DSS, and its basic operation include a direct sequence spread spectrum transmitter convert an incoming data bit, that is bit stream, into a symbol stream, with each symbol represent a group of one or more bits. So what the basic operation in DSS first in the incoming bit stream in a symbol stream like a convert, that is a direct sequence spread spectrum transmitter converts an incoming data bit stream into a symbol stream where each symbol represent a group of one or more bit. Appam oro symbol one or more bits undam. So oro incoming data bit ne adu convert a symbol stream like a convert a oro symbol stream it can be one or more, a group of one or more bits. And using QPSK, the DSS transmitter modulates or multiplies each symbol with a noise-like code called PN, that is pseudo noise sequence, and this is called chip sequence. That is, നമ്മൾ QPSK മോഡുലേഷൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ QPSK മോഡുലേഷൻ ഉപയോഗിച്ചിട്ട് ഈ DSS ട്രാൻസ്മിറ്റർ എന്താ ചെയ്യുക, മോഡുലേറ്റ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മൾട്ടിപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യും ഈ സിമ്പിൾ വിത്ത് നോയ്സ് ലൈക്ക് കോഡ് കോൾഡ് സ്യൂഡോ നോയ്സ് കോഡ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സ്യൂഡോ നോയ്സ് സീക്വൻസ്, ആൻഡ് ദിസ് ഈസ് കോൾഡ് ചിപ്പ് സീക്വൻസ്. അതിനെ നമ്മൾ ചിപ്പ് സീക്വൻസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. സോ using a phase varying modulation technique such as quadrature phase shift key, the DSS transmitter modulates or multiplies each symbol with a noise-like code called pseudo noise or PN sequence, and this is called chip sequence. So the multiplication operation here in DSS transmitter artificially increased the used bandwidth based on the length of the chip sequence. So based on the length of the chip sequence, the multiplication operation in DSS transmitter artificially increased the used bandwidth. And here this shows the transmitter block diagram for DSS. Here we have a user data which is given to a product modulator which have an input chipping sequence, and output of this is a spreaded signal which is given to a modulator, and here it is provided by radio carrier and given to transmit signal. So first the working principle parayanengil, first spreading the user data with the help of chipping sequence. So chipping sequence വെച്ചിട്ട് നമ്മൾ user data അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഡാറ്റ നമ്മൾ സ്പ്രെഡ് ചെയ്യും. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഡിജിറ്റൽ മോഡുലേഷൻ. സോ അത് നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞതിൽ ചെറിയൊരു മിസ്റ്റേക്ക് ഉണ്ട്. നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ ഫസ്റ്റ് കണ്ട ബ്ലോക്ക് ഡയഗ്രാം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ DSSന്റെ ആയിരുന്നു. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഈ നമ്മൾ മുന്നേ നേരത്തെ സ്ലൈഡ് ഷെയർ ചെയ്തത് DSSന്റെ ആയിരുന്നു. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഡയറക്റ്റ് സീക്വൻസിന്റെ ആയിരുന്നു. വി ക്യാൻ സി എ യൂസർ ഡാറ്റ, ആൻഡ് യൂസർ ഡാറ്റ നമ്മൾ ആദ്യം എന്ത് ചെയ്യും, digital modulation, that first is spreading the user data with chipping sequence, that is digital modulation ആണ് അവിടെ നടക്കുന്നത്. നമ്മൾ ആദ്യം നമ്മൾ യൂസർ ഡാറ്റനെ സ്പ്രെഡ് ചെയ്യും by using chipping sequence and modulation, and next the spreaded signal is modulated with the radio carrier. So first നമ്മൾ അതിനെ ഡിജിറ്റൽ മോഡുലേഷൻ ചെയ്യും, പിന്നെ അതിനെ ഒരു മോഡുലേറ്ററിലേക്ക് കൊടുത്തിട്ട് ഒരു റേഡിയോ കാരിയർ വെച്ചിട്ട് മോഡുലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യും. That is next ഈ spreaded signal is given to a modulator and with the radio carrier frequency or radio carrier വെച്ചിട്ട് നമ്മൾ അതിനെ മോഡുലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യും. അതായത് ഫസ്റ്റ് യൂസർ ഡാറ്റേനെ സ്പ്രെഡഡ് സിഗ്നലിലേക്ക് കൺവേർട്ട് ചെയ്യും ബൈ ദ യൂസ് ഓഫ് ചിപ്പിംഗ് സീക്വൻസ്. നെക്സ്റ്റ് സ്പ്രെഡഡ് സിഗ്നലിനെ with the use of radio carrier modulate it, then it is given as transmit signal, then it is transmitted. So this is the block diagram of DSS. Here first is spreading the user data with the chip in sequence, that is the digital modulation, and next the spreaded signal, which is the output of this XOR product modulator. This next the spread signal is modulated with the radio carrier. Here we can see a radio carrier, that is radio modulation, and the radio carrier then shifts the signal to the carrier frequency. At last the signal is transmitted, that is transmit signal. Now we will move on to the receiver block diagram. Here the receiver only has to perform the inverse function of digital modulation and radio modulation of the transmitter. So basically there are two operations taking place in the transmitter. First part digital modulation, second part radio modulation, that is by using radio carrier frequency. Here നമ്മൾ ഡിജിറ്റൽ മോഡുലേഷന്റെ കേസിലായിരുന്നു TB by TC അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ചിപ്പ് പീരീഡിനെ കൺസിഡർ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് അവിടെ ചിപ്പിംഗ് സീക്വൻസ് ആണ് നമ്മൾ ഡിജിറ്റൽ മോഡുലേഷനകത്ത് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സോ ട്രാൻസ്മിറ്ററിൽ ബേസിക്കലി രണ്ട് ഓപ്പറേഷനാണ് നടക്കുന്നത്. ഒന്ന് ഡിജിറ്റൽ മോഡുലേഷനും ഒന്ന് റേഡിയോ മോഡുലേഷനും. ആൻഡ് ഡിജിറ്റൽ മോഡുലേഷൻ ഈസ് ബൈ യൂസിങ് ചിപ്പിംഗ് സീക്വൻസ് ആൻഡ് റേഡിയോ മോഡുലേഷൻ ഈസ് യൂസിങ് ബൈ റേഡിയോ കാരിയർ. സോ ബേസിക്കലി ഈ റിസീവറിൽ എന്താ നടക്കുക വെച്ചാൽ അതിന്റെ ഇൻവേഴ്സ് ഓപ്പറേഷൻ ആണ്. That is inverse of this digital modulation and inverse operation of this radio modulation of the transmitter. So, our first in a received signal to demodulator കൊടുക്കും, that is given served by radio carrier, and next a chipping sequence that is given to a demodulator output low pass filtered signal ആയിരിക്കും, that is given to a correlator. Here we can say product modulator followed by integrator. So this is given to a correlator, and this product modulator is served by a chipping sequence, which we have seen in transmitter. Finally, this correlator output is sampled sum, which is given to a decision device, and output of the decision device we get the data. So the receiver only has to perform the inverse function of digital modulation and radio modulation of the transmitter. So first is perform the demodulation of the received signal. As we can see here, the received signal is given to a demodulator, which is served by a radio carrier. So here, the output of the demodulator, we get the demodulator, or the demodulation can be performed using the same carrier as the transmitter reversing the modulation. So the same radio carrier can be used, which is used in the transmitter for demodulation. And finally, at the data, or finally at the output, it produces with approximately same bandwidth as that of the original spectrum signal. So this data will be same as that of the original spectrum signal. That is the data. That is the bandwidth. Bandwidth will be as the same as the original spectrum signal. So this is about the transmitter direct sequence PET spectrum, which is in the case of DSS or which is in the case of digital modulation. So digital modulation case chip sequence consider, that is chipping sequence. It's based on chip time period base. So it is most widely form of PET spectrum, and basic operation a direct sequence PET spectrum transmitter convert incoming bit stream into symbol stream, for each symbol represent one or more bit, and using QPSK the DSS transmitter modulate or multiply each symbol with noise like code called pseudo noise called PN sequence, and this is called chip sequence. And here in the transmitter we have the user data, which is given to a product modulator, and this is modulation is done using chipping sequence. That is here the first part digital modulation takes place, and the second part the spreaded sequence is given to the modulator, and we have a carrier, that's radio carrier. Here radio modulation takes place in the second part. So finally we transmit signal, and the receiver it's generally the reverse operation of transmitter. Here in the first part we have a radio demodulation, and here in the second part we have a inverse of digital demodulation. So here the received signal is given to demodulator, which is served by a radio carrier, and now the low pass filtered signal is given to a product modulator followed by integrator, that is a correlator. And the product modulator is provided by chipping sequence, which is used in the same which is same as the one which we used in the transmitter. And finally, we have a decision device, and based on this, we have the data, and this data will have the same bandwidth as that of we have transmitter. That is, user data bandwidth will be same as that of the data which we get at the output of the decision device. So next part is the frequency host spread spectrum. So this frequency host spread spectrum is usually used in analog side. So analog system. So for FHSS, the total available bandwidth is split into many channels of smaller bandwidth plus a guard space between the channels. So here the total bandwidth in the of any total bandwidth split into many channel, many smaller bandwidth like split and plus some guard space between the bandwidth channel. That is separation guard band and include. So FHSS is the total bandwidth smaller bandwidth like split split guard band spacing between that available channel. So here transmitter and receiver stay on one of this channel for certain time and then hop to another channel, and this system implement FBM and TDM. So the FHS including that this system can be implemented in frequency division multiplexing and time division multiplexing. And the pattern of channel usage is called hopping sequence. So the channel channel hope that is transmitter and receiver stay one of this channel for a certain time. That is channel bandwidth split many small channels of smaller bandwidth like convert. Now, transmitter and receiver split the many channel like a particular time period where stage and then it hope to another channel. Channel like a hope. So that's frequency hopping spectrum. And this system implements FBM, that is frequency division multiplexing, and time division multiplexing. A pattern of channel usage is called hopping sequence. As we can see, one channel channel like a hopping sequence, and time spent on the channel with a certain frequency is called dwell time. One channel, that is a particular allotted bandwidth in a small channel of smaller bandwidth like a converting. And the transmitter receiver channel or particular time where channel particular time channel like hope the hope. Transmitter receiver channel dwell time. So a pattern of channel usage is called hopping sequence, and the time spent on the channel with a certain frequency is called dwell time. Channel time spend a certain frequency time spend time dwell time. So basically, the transmitter side first here we have a user data. This user data first it is modulator. It's given to a modulator. And this modulator, what it do is it convert into narrowband signal. So user data which is given to a modulator, which is given as output in the narrowband signal, which is given to a modulator, frequency synthesizer, that is and given a hopping sequence and spread spectrum signal. So first it perform the modulation of the user data according to one of the digital to analog modulation scheme. For example, FSK, BAPSK use it and the modulating. First it perform the modulation of user data. This is the user data, and this modulator what it do is it performs the modulation of this user data according to one of the D2A modulation scheme. For example, FSK BPSK. So by using one of the modulation scheme like FSK or BPSK, it converts the user data which is digital to analog. That is narrowband signal. So user data which is the digital data. So the digital data is modulated by using BSK, BPSK, FSK modulation schemes and it is converted to narrowband signal. So the digital data is converted into analog modulation scheme. So digital user data is converted into narrowband signal. Then this narrowband signal is given to a modulator. That is, after the modulation, it provides a narrowband signal. If FSK is used with the frequency F0 for binary 0 and F1 for binary 1. So this narrowband signal is given to a modulator, and modulator have a frequency synthesizer, and here we have a hopping sequence. So in the case of DSS, we have a chip sequence, and in the case of FH, that is frequency hopping spectrum, we have a hopping sequence. Here, frequency hopping is performed based on this hopping sequence. So, this hopping sequence is based on frequency hopping perform. So, hopping sequence is fed into a frequency synthesizer, and this frequency synthesizer generate carrier frequency Fi. So, the frequency hopping is performed based on this hopping sequence, and this hopping sequence is given to a frequency synthesizer, and or it is fed to a frequency synthesizer, and this frequency synthesizer, what it do is it generate a carrier frequency Fc or Fi, and which is given to a modulator. And the second, here we have a first modulator, and here we have a second modulator. The second modulation is used to or it uses the narrow band signal, which we have seen here. This uses the narrow band signal and the carrier frequency to generate a new spread sequence or spread signal with a frequency of, here we have either F0, that is narrow band signal, we have either F0 for binary 0 anangil, that is if the user data 0 anangil, we have frequency F0, and if the user data 1 anangil, here narrow band signal we have frequency F1. So, we hopping sequence frequency synthesizer frequency Fi. So, we modulate we have a spreaded sequence. This spreaded sequence frequency either it will be F0 plus this Fi, or it will be Fi plus this F1. So, here we have F0 and F1. Here we have the frequency Fi. So, the spreaded sequence frequency either it will be F0 plus this Fi or F1 plus this Fi respectively. So, based on this user data, here we have frequency F0 and F1 respectively, and this frequency synthesizer have a frequency F5. So, spreaded sequence in the frequency either if it's symbol 0 anangile, we have frequency F0 so F0 plus this frequency synthesizer frequency F5. If symbol if user data 1 anangile, we have frequency F1. So, this frequency F1 plus F5 our spreaded sequence. And in that if different FHS transmitter use hopping frequency, that never overlap. That is, if two transmitter never use the same frequency Fi at the same time, then these two transmitter do not interfere. That is, if two transmitter consider and this two transmitter never uses the same frequency Fi at the same time, then the two transmitter do not interfere. That is, if different FHS transmitter use hopping sequence that never overlap, that is, if two transmitter never use the same frequency Fi at the same time. That ഒരേ സമയത്ത് രണ്ട് ട്രാൻസ്മിറ്റർ സെയിം ഫ്രീക്വൻസി Fi യൂസ് ചെയ്യില്ല. Then these two transmitter അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ ആ രണ്ട് ട്രാൻസ്മിറ്റർ ഇന്റർഫെയർ ചെയ്യില്ല എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അതായത് രണ്ട് ട്രാൻസ്മിറ്റർ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ആ രണ്ട് ട്രാൻസ്മിറ്ററും സെയിം ഫ്രീക്വൻസി സിന്തസൈസറിന്റെ ഔട്ട്പുട്ടിലുള്ള ഫ്രീക്വൻസിയാണ് Fi. ആ സെയിം ഫ്രീക്വൻസി Fi യൂസ് ചെയ്യില്ല. അങ്ങനെ യൂസ് ചെയ്യാത്തടത്തോളം കാലം ആ രണ്ട് ട്രാൻസ്മിറ്റർ തമ്മിൽ ഇന്റർഫറൻസ് ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. അതാണ് പറയുന്നത്. And second block diagram പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ we have this is the receiver side, and here we have a received signal and demodulator, a frequency synthesizer, and a second demodulator. So the receiver has to know the hopping sequence and must say synchronized. So here the hopping sequence must be same, or it must be synchronized with the hopping sequence at the transmitter side. And it performs the inverse operation of modulation to reconstruct the user data. For several filters are also needed for this. So here we have the receiver inverse operation of transmitter. Here we have a first demodulator with the frequency synthesizer and hopping sequence. This hopping sequence it must be synchronized with the hopping sequence at the transmitter. And output of the demodulator narrow band signal which is given to a second demodulator, and the output of the second demodulator we have the data.